Leave it to the Call of Duty community to be talking about the next Call of Duty game, even though the current one just came out less than 2 weeks ago. But of course, I'm doing it. I'm a part of the problem, obviously, but there's good reasons because it's Treyarch's game next year, and that's what I care about more than anything. More importantly, there's zombies game modes, and that's what we're going to be talking about because there is a lot of stuff mentioned for being this early on. Now, where these leaks are coming from, they're actually from Modern Warfare 3 Intel and Hey, I'm Alex on Twitter. I'll link both of them down in the description below. And how they're getting this is actually through the files of Modern Warfare 3. You may be wondering, why is there files for the next Call of Duty game in the current one? Well, it's because for some reason they're sharing all one engine. There's a unified engine now, and some files get moved from game to game for some reason. I don't really get it, but that's what I've been told. But with that said, what do these leaks say? Well, the first thing is that Round Base is returning. Shocker. Oh no, like who would have thought that was going to happen? Well, obviously it was going to return. I know there's some people out there saying, oh, Round Base is never happening ever again. They're doing this weird DMZ zombie stuff from now on. And obviously not. It's returning when Treyarch releases their own game. Now, the good news is that it seems like we're going to have 2 different launch maps. And this is the part of the video where I'm going to actually talk about some details about these maps. So if you guys are trying to go blind with no like spoilery stuff like this, then I recommend skipping over this because they do go over some of the details of these maps. And for the first map, this one is seemingly set in a city, and that city has a bank, a church, and police tape on it, whatever that last part means. And it also has machines you have to activate, and what I'm assuming that means is something similar to Shadows, Mob, or even Origins, where you have to power up those machines to get to the perks, I would assume, but I'm not entirely sure. But overall, a city map is something that we seem like we are going to be getting. Now, where that map could be, I don't think we really have that many hints because after the end of Cold War, they didn't really give us any big teasers towards which city we could possibly be in. So I don't really know what to do with this one. It could really be anything, but if you guys have some theories, let me know down in the comment section below. Now, this second map seems much more likely what they were teasing at the end of Cold War, because this map is set on an island, and more importantly, it's set on an island where an elevator takes you to an underground prison lab thing, which is interesting for a couple different reasons. Because the first thing is, the reason why I believe this is what was teased at the end of Cold War is because if you guys remember that scene where Peck starts pointing at the map, he points at some random island near Japan or China, somewhere about right there. And so it makes sense that this is the island we're going to. Now, I think it makes even more sense that there would be a prison here because I think what Peck is probably doing is trying to go get the characters from Requiem, because if you guys remember at the end of the Cold War, they were all arrested by Richtofen and he had them sent somewhere, and my theory is that they were probably sent here. Now, the lab part's interesting because I didn't really expect there to be a lab in this area, and this makes me interested because this is giving off some Zetsubo no Shima vibes, because if you guys remember, Zetsubo had a prison and a lab. So there was a lab at the top of it, and then underground was a prison where they kept Takio, right? That was the whole map. So I'm curious if this might be a remake of Zetsubo no Shima, which wouldn't be surprising if this was the second map, right? The first map is an original map, but the second launch map is a remake. We've seen that happen multiple times in the past, so I wouldn't be surprised if this turned out to be a Zetsubo no Shima remake. Now, the only thing that makes me think that it might not be, or at least it's changed a lot from the original Zetsubo no Shima, is the other detail of this map. And it's the part where it says, this map has a ship with a deck cannon trap, which is interesting because there was no ship in Zetsubo no Shima. There was no ship in Zetsubo, obviously. And I don't even know where a ship would really be. I know in Spawn there's a little spot for water, but it's not like that's where the ocean was, right? So if it is Zetsubo, I think it might be more of a remake than kind of a remaster, kind of, where they change a lot of the map and you spawn maybe an entirely different area, but there are some shared locations, like maybe the lab and prison part. Maybe those even get expanded in some ways. That's the only way I can really see it working out here. But definitely there's a lot of theories that could be going on with this one. I'm curious to hear what you guys think about this. You guys think it's going to be a remake of Zetsubo, or what do you guys make of this second map? Now, of course, with round base returning, a lot of the features that we would expect in round base, especially after Cold War, are also returning. Mystery box, pack-a-punch, large ammo boxes, armor stations, exfil, all that stuff is going to be returning. Now, the only newish sounding feature that I think that is in these leaks is something called a dark ether field emitter, and I'm wondering if that is just the rage inducer from Cold War. If you guys remember, like, you would activate that and then the zombie spawns would like be increased to be immediately super fast. So I'm curious if that is what it is, but maybe it's something entirely new. I'm not sure. Now, of course, the main reason we're even talking about the features is because there's one humongous one that we got to talk about, and that is the Gobblegum machine. Yes, it's going to be returning in one way, shape, or form in Treyarch's next Zombies game. Now, the leaks have also said it's not going to be as pay to win, which gets me curious, because the whole thing about the Gobblegum system is that I think Black Ops 3 almost did it great. But the problem with Black Ops 3, it was super pay to win. The only reason it just wasn't as bad as it really was because dashboarding was a thing. Like, if dashboarding didn't work, the Gobblegum system would suck. Like, let's be honest, it would be terrible. Because nobody except the people who spent hundreds of dollars on the game spinning for Gobblegums would have the better Gobblegums. It would have sucked. But at the same time, we've seen what Gobblegums have done for Black Ops 3. Like, people are still speedrunning Black Ops 3 till this day, literally only because of the Gobblegums. Because they let you optimize the game in so many different ways to speedrun it faster and faster. And this is one of the major reasons why Black Ops 3 has such a long lifespan. It's because of the Gobblegums. It's one of the many reasons. Obviously, it's just a great game, but it's the Gobblegums and then also custom maps. All that makes the game last so much longer. And we can't ignore the value of them. And I think Treyarch's seen that value, and that's the reason why they're going to return. But really what it comes down to, how I feel about it, is how they decide to implement it. Because like I said, Black Ops 3 without dashboarding is actually terrible for the average player. Like, the Gobblegum system sucks. I mean, we've seen this with Black Ops 4 when you couldn't dashboard. Literally no one's speedrunning or anything in that game because it's a pain to get those elixirs. Like, it's just not great. Nobody wants to be doing that. So obviously, I don't think that's how you got to do it. Now, what they really should do, I mean, I have an idea, but it'd be too long to explain in this video, so I'm not going to do it. But overall, I do think it would be a positive if Gobblegums did return in the next game, as long as they're not too pay to win or too useless. You have to find that nice middle ground where if you grind the game enough, you can get all the good stuff that you want, but also just don't make it stupid and useless. Regardless though, that's going to wrap it up for this video. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions on everything we've talked about here today. You guys liking what you're hearing, not liking what you're hearing? Just let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Regardless, so that's going to wrap it up for me. If you guys did enjoy the video, I appreciate if you guys dropped a like, subscribe, bell, share, or any of that great stuff. But I'm going to go, and I'll catch you guys next stream, video, or whatever the heck it may be. And, laters, guys.